Welcome to the 7-Figure Jump, part of the iEntrepreneur Radio Network. We are so honored to be able to bring you your host, two-time recipient of the internationally coveted Presentainer Award, honored as one of the top 10 women in business to follow globally, as well as one of the top change coaches in the world. We are excited to bring you your host, Dr. Karen Perkins.
Well, hello. I'm so excited for yet another fabulous Tuesday. And we have got the most wonderful guest on today. But again, I don't like those spoiler alerts. But I will tell you this. I have seen her take people from 0 to 6, 7 digits, basically with her skill set, and teaching them some basic things that we all need to know. So you're going to want to listen up tight when we talk to our guest this afternoon. And as I always like to, let's go ahead and bring Robert in. Hey, Robert, how are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you, Dr. Karen?
I am absolutely phenomenal. Day could not be better. I understand you had a birthday 2 days ago. Happy birthday.
I did. I turned the number 5 and the number 6. And what's really crazy about that is I can really see number is nothing but a number. Age is nothing but what other people think of it. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm living forever because I'm just loving life too much.
Can I share a funny story about that?
Absolutely.
About age? I think I had turned 51. And for some reason, I said 52. And for a whole year, I told people I was 52. And then it was getting close to my birthday. And I said to my daughter, yeah, I'll be 53 this year. She looked at me and she said, Mom, add up or subtract your birthday from this year. You're 22. You won't be you'll be 23 on your birthday. Or you'll be 20. You're 21. You'll be 22 on your birthday. And I just went, I lost a whole year. For a whole year, I thought I was a year older than I was. So,
isn't that beautiful? I still remember, sometimes, I have kids, and sometimes you wonder how much they really hear you. And so I remember last year for my birthday, when I turned 55, and I still remember Troy. Troy goes, it's your silver anniversary of your 30th birthday. And that's my son. And I just thought, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Anniversary of being 30 forever. Because he's like, Dad, you're too important to me not to be able to run around on a soccer field and have fun.
I love that. That is so awesome. So did you get to do anything fun for your birthday?
Oh my goodness. I walked, we ran, we went to the lake, we went out to eat, we cooked, we watched nature, we wrote poems together. We did, my wife and I did so many things that were just like, we got to be kids. We even, oh my gosh, wait, listen to this. We even got to watch HGTV for 4 hours straight. Okay. HGTV. I mean, it's like, I know by this time next year, our house is going to be totally converted with all the ideas we got from watching HGTV, and we, so we got to just enjoy each other. And a lot of it was, part of it was sitting out, and we meditated out in front of the house that we were staying. We did an Airbnb, and we were up in Heber, Arizona, and Heber is about 7,000 feet. And it was really interesting because you think in such a quiet world out there, because it's not a big city or anything, we just sat and listened for a while. And when you think about how nature is, nature provides so much beauty in just the sound, from the birds to the animals to the leaves rustling in the wind. And it was really nice just to be grounded so well out in nature, something we don't really get a lot of time to do because we're always so busy. We with COVID, we have 3 rooms with 3 kids, having 3 different instructors all week long. And then on the weekend, it seems like we're always trying to catch up for everything that went on in the week. So, to get away for 4 days was nearly magical.
I'm so happy you got to do that. I'm so jealous. Actually, I'm not jealous. I'm envious. Jealousy is when I want it, you don't deserve it, and envy is when, oh man, I'm so glad you had that. I want it too. So I'm
You know,
envious.
yeah, and you know, and I love what I do, and I do what I love. You know, we hear that all the time, but when you sometimes when you get away from it, and you actually, I always say, even men nowadays, a lot of men forget self care. And when we were able to get away and actually have some self care, and this is what I tell my wife, I said, what good is being in love if you don't get to enjoy each other? You know,
Yep.
I mean, my goodness, there's people that I don't like that I don't have to spend time with, but someone that I love,
Well,
we
there's
have
some
to make
people I
that
don't
time.
like, and there's some people I don't like, and I do have to spend time
Right,
with. So
right.
so let's spend time with the people we love more.
Oh, absolutely. And it was nice. And so we actually were able to enjoy each other for a while. And I looked at her and I said, yeah, this is what love is about. It's, you know, it's not being apart, it's actually being together. So that was it was a really wonderful time for us.
Well, I'm happy for you. I think that is fabulous.
Thank
Now,
you.
we're about ready to jump, but I want to, before we do, how are things going on the book? I know our guest today has signed up, and then a bunch of other people, but we still have openings for some folks, right?
We do. We have 365 days in the year, and we are about the point where half the days are gone. And you know, for people who don't know this, because people ask me, how did this book come about? And what it is I have thousands of quotes and thoughts and then questions that we ask all of our chapters, you know, whether they're networkers or maybe in some of our academy classes, etc. And we use that as a place to start conversation, because I believe all great things start with conversation, whether yourself in your own mind or with others. And you know, so we utilize that. And so my idea is why don't we put all these things into a book and launch a book with a great quote, a great thought about that quote, and a question, you know, that people can ponder and actually journal on. And my wife says, that's really great, but you know, are you sure you want to have it all of your quotes? I think it would be so much more exciting if we had members of Network Together and other people in the business community to actually lend their quotes as well. And so that's how it came about. I approached a publisher. She loved it. She submitted it to the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress said, wow, this book provides hope, inspiration, and support to other entrepreneurs, business owners, and influencers. And they accepted, you know, us being at the Library of Congress as like a work of art. And so so a lot of people don't know, I used to be a poetry slam guy, a recovering programmer, but I had to have some outlet, and it was like poetry. So this is our voice as entrepreneurs, Dr. Karen. You know, we're giving our voice, our inspiration, our support to other entrepreneurs, business owners, and influencers who may not have the same, you know, light that we've had to enjoy. And so this is our way to give back to all of them, you know, for the end of the fourth quarter and for all of next year. That's what's so exciting about this.
And I'm excited. And one of the things I really like pointing out about the book is you're leaving a legacy. Your words, your thoughts, your quote will live on forever, and it will impact your children and your grandchildren and your nieces and nephews, your best friends, nieces and nephews, because you're sharing. And
Yeah.
I know I, for one, have been walking around going, well, that was a charism. And then it's like, no, that was a momism. My mom said that. Well, no, that was my friend. So
Well,
I'm finding my unique Karenism.
and you know, you and I both love Jim Rome and some of his quotes. And, you know, I always think about his quotes that you should look at your business in such a way that you are there to save others, right? You know,
Yeah.
and in saving others, I mean, we have a moral and ethical obligation. And for me, I kind of look at this in the same way as like, I'm just trying to take as many people with me as possible, just like you are, just like Orly is. I mean, you know, what's so great is we get to work with people who have magic inside them, you know, but we get to help them develop their message in voice and create a method so the world can hear it. You know, and I think, to me, we have the most incredible jobs in the world, because we get to work with people that we like and love, and we get to help them hear the beauty of their voice. And that's what I love about this book, and that's what I really appreciate about you, Dr. Karen, is you have that heart. And I always said, before you can work on a mindset, you got to work on the heart set, because when your mind gets tired, your heart pushes you on.
Yep, I agree fully. And it's one of the things I do with my coaching is let's get your heart in order, and this so we can get all of the other things you want done in order. So that's awesome.
Well, I think I'm going to go, because I could talk with you forever, but I think it's some time for a little bit of straight talk from Dr. Karen. And I always look forward to this each and every day, and I write my 2 minutes worth of notes for that.
Well, thank you. Well, here's my straight talk today. Robert talked a little bit about leaving legacies and knowing those quotes and how it changes people's lives. And I'm going to tell you that you need to really reach down deep and ask yourself, how am I helping to save somebody's life today? Now, I don't mean go out at a bridge and keep people from jumping, though that's an awesome thing, and I know there's people who do that. I'm just saying, you being you. Because I find often people will judge other people, so they won't offer them help. They won't offer them love because, they're beyond me, or, I had a gal in my church way back when my kids were teeny tiny. And my kids, they were normal kids at church, jumping around, bouncing off things, and I'm grabbing them, holding them on my lap, and they're squealing, and I'm going, shh. And yet here her children would walk in with their arms folded, and they would sit down and not say a peep, just sat there so beautifully. And she was tall and gorgeous and drove a Cadillac and had nicest clothes ever. And I mean, I just knew she just had it all. She had no idea how bad things were for me. But then one day I just kept getting this thought, you got to call Linda, you got to call Linda, you got to call Linda. So finally I gave in. I called Linda. And I said, Linda, I've just been thinking about you today. Is everything okay? Is there anything I can do for you? And she broke down in tears. And then I understood the other side of the story. We only listen to our side or our perception. We don't get the reality. She was a pharmaceutical rep and had to have specific type of clothing in her contract, was that, in order to represent the drugs at the doctor's office. She had a Cadillac because it was the only car she had, and they told her she had to have an X amount of cars to choose from. But her Cadillac was old and kept breaking down. Her mother, unbeknownst to me or anyone else in that congregation, was living with her and couldn't move. So they had to roll her over every couple of hours to keep her from getting bed blisters. Her kids were so quiet because they'd both gotten hepatitis as a child, and if they get too active, things are not good. So I just looked at that and I went, and here I thought your life was perfect. You never know what somebody else's life is like. So always smile at them, nod, acknowledge them. Just be kind. Because when you're kind, it changes the world. And just like my friend Linda, I had no idea why I felt compelled to call her. I just did. The Spirit said, call her. And she has many times since said, thank you. I was at the end. I was just at the end. So straight talk for the day. Be kind.
Network together. It's all about connections. Expand your sphere of influence. Build relationships. Be part of something bigger. Be part of Network Together.
If you are looking for a great speaker to help you develop your professional speaker platform and build your sphere of influence, we have someone you should meet. Meet Orly Amor.
Hi, I'm Orly Amor. I am a public speaker, a business coach for public speakers and entrepreneurs, and a networker.
An internationally known speaker, business coach for public speakers, networking expert, and author of several books.
Public speakers are struggling to get booked as speakers because they don't know how to do the business side.
Orly Amor helps C-level executives, HR executives, and sales managers increase their bottom line in sales and develop their public speaking platforms.
Give them a toolbox. Basically, I call it the business in a box for public speakers. Remember, if you have a message, somebody is willing to pay for it.
To get more information or schedule Orly Amor to help you transform, visit www.orlyamor.com.
Well, I love that last commercial because that is about our wonderful friend that's going to be joining us today. And I want to tell you a little bit about Orly. In fact, go ahead and bring her on, Robert, because I want to watch her gush or blush while I gush. Orly, I'm going to see you blush while I gush. She won't. Orly is one of those people that the minute you meet her, you know you have met a long-lost friend and you feel that instant bond. And you want to be in her presence all the time. She has taught some courses that I taught for years, and I went to the first one I went to, I just went, and I took notes. I think I took three notebooks worth of notes. And it was so amazing because even things that I knew from being in the industry for years and years and years, she had a perspective on it that I hadn't ever fully considered. And she was able to, in that event, I saw a lot of people grow and change and actually be on the road speaking because she was teaching them how to speak. So phenomenal job. Orly is the owner of, the GMC. What's that, Sam Orly?
It's okay. Global Mentoring, Coaching, and Publishing Center, Inc.
Okay. Yeah, see, global mentoring and coaching plus the publishing.
Yeah.
So that's, and you are a great coach and mentor. I know that. And you're definitely a fabulous networker when it comes to lining people up and getting things done for getting people on the stage or really anything else they need your help with. All that being said, you've been up to a lot of fun the last couple of months. You want to share some of that with us?
Just a lot of fun is as fun as every day of my life, and I always say about every day above ground is a good day. You and I, Karen, have similar accomplishments and struggles and so on and so forth. And you just have to appreciate life, period. I think 2020 has taught us that. So fun, yes, I've launched a new digital platform for the Health and Wellness Network that I own. I'm the founder of the Health and Wellness Network of Commerce, hwncc.com. The global digital marketplace has been launched and is absolutely fabulous. We are in 6 countries and 15 states now, expanding every day. It's crazy, 45 chapters around the world. It grew by itself, and now it's kind of, have you ever woken up from something or from a dream thinking that it was real and then you realize that it was a dream? Well, for me, it's the opposite. I've thought that I was dreaming and I woke up and it was a reality. So it was,
I love that. I love that.
Things that, I still say to people, can you pinch me? Because I'm not sure this is really happening. And more to come. So many amazing things that we're doing within that platform and outside of that platform for the health and wellness community around the world. So I'm really excited about that. Launched my book in December and going to be relaunching it because now that we have the publishing house all over the world as well and guaranteeing, international bestseller, it's really awesome. Our clients are all over the moon and it's really cool. And I didn't have that. I just wanted my book to come out on the 12th of December, just like I wanted my first book to come out on the 12th of December. And no matter what people told me, it's like, Orly, we don't have time. This is not the right time. Whatever it was, I was like, okay, no, it has to come out on the 12th because
We're doing it.
We're doing it. It doesn't matter. It's like public speakers. You're not all that. 12 reasons why event planners won't hire you. So it has to be a 12, right? The 12th of the 12th. And the first book was a Mindset Mastery, the 12 powers we hold within. And I'm like, 12, it has to come out on 12/12. So it came out on 12/12/2017. So it was just a matter of me saying, okay, 12/12, it has to come out on 12/12/12. I'm just
that is funny. I love that. Well, and that because speakers make huge mistakes, especially when they're talking to recruiters, right? And I know that people are always saying, Orly, can you just give me your recruiter list so I can call them?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't want somebody calling a person that I gave them the name of and harassing them.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it were my very best friend, sure, here's the list. Better yet, who do you want? And I'll call them. But just for the average guy on the street, that's like, no, they value their privacy, and I value their privacy.
Yeah. And my relationship, it took me I've been in the industry for 24 years. I've built those relationships.
Oh, she started when she was 2.
Oh, you guys you are very sweet. I am going to make it, and I'm going to, oh, by the way, Karen, I'm 53 now I don't even know how old I am. That's very good. So I'm 53. I'm 53 years old, and I'll be 54 next April. So I'm 53, and I know sometimes I say I don't look it. I really don't know. I don't care. It's the when you're passionate about life, you will look the age that you live by. It doesn't really matter. Age is really a number. I was hearing you guys talk earlier, and it's really funny that you say that. The first time I saw a really cool birthday invitation card was by a lady who was turning 70, and she did her birthday party on a yacht, and she asked me to sing at her birthday. And her invitation was like, you are cordially invited to the 40th anniversary of my 30th birthday. And that was to say that she's turning 70. And that was like the first time I ever heard that. So it's kind of funny that you guys talked about that. That was funny.
Oh, yeah, that is funny. Well, I'll be 58 in February.
You don't look
so
it either.
I'm getting close to those 6 numbers. But you know what? It's been 57 wonderful years, and
there you go.
I know it'll be another 50 wonderful years. So,
yeah, well, when I grow up, I want to just be you. There you go. So I haven't grown up yet. I'm still working on that maturity side.
You know what? I'll probably never grow up.
There you go. I don't really want to grow up either. I'm still cracking myself up.
I had a weird dream last night. I know, not about me and TMI, but I had the weirdest dream last night that I had gone with my grandkids to a bounce house at, the trampoline places.
Yes.
And I was having so much fun giggling and laughing and throwing myself into the foam balls, and that my 8-year-old grandchild said, Nana, you're embarrassing us. You're an old lady. You're supposed to sit on the side with the rest of them. I just went, I won't take you in. I'm just going to come alone.
It does look kind of funny. Look fun, though. Yeah, it does look fun. They should have one of those for just adults then, I mean.
Yeah, they should.
There you go.
Well,
I agree.
Tell me more about your magazine.
Oh, well, so we launched the magazine back in June because exactly that. Everybody wants me to share my list of event planners. So for the past 24 years, I've built a really extensive list of event planners that hire speakers. The actual size of the list is over 58,000 event planners that have hired event speakers. And every time somebody asked me for that, I said, look, that's really something I can't do. And I don't want to sell it or do something like that because I've built some really cool relationships. And at the beginning of 2020, I said, well, what if, because in the industry of TV and radio, and they have this directory of superstars where if they need somebody for the show, they just have to go through the directory and it tells them who their publisher, the publicist, and their PR person or whatever. And all they have to do is call and find out and be able to just call them onto the show because they need guests, And so I said, well, what if we had one of those for the event planners, and they would have a one-stop shop for their speakers. And then speakers will have to market themselves in that magazine if they really want to be a part of something that goes out to the event planners. So we did a survey and we sent it out to all those 58,000 event planners saying, if you'd like to have or get this magazine directory, it's called Speakers and Experts Magazine and Directory. If you'd like to receive it, please opt in, and they got a link. So far we have over 26,000 event planners that have opted into this magazine. And we were very surprised at that because me, myself, and I was very surprised at that because I was wondering if really people would actually respond. So I thought, wow, my list, I usually get a open rate of any email that I send out about 34%, which is very good anyway. But at the end of the day, I didn't think that it would get that much of a response. So when we got that response, I was freaking out. You should have seen me, Karen. I had to pinch myself twice. It was like, is this really happening? And then I said, okay, well, I guess we can go with this, right? So we put the first one together. And as you know, Bert Oliva was on the cover. I'm like, who am I going to put on the cover, right? I mean, like at this point, who is going to come? And then August, we had Deepak Chopra. And I'm like, is he really going to do this? Yep. Well, I had his executive director. And I'm like, this is really cool. I'm thinking this is cool, but are speakers really getting this? They're not. And so I said, okay, well, those who will, those who won't. And that's what I say to even my clients. I'm like, some will, some won't. Who cares? Who's next? There are 64,000 events a day in America that pay speakers. And this did not vanish because of COVID. There is still a lot of events that are paying speakers virtually. And 78% of them just went virtual. No big deal. I still got hired all summer long virtually, and I just did one this past weekend. So again, it's not, it's not gone. This industry is a beautiful industry, and I love it, love it, love it. And I love my clients for getting, and one of my clients just got a paid speaking gig virtually because 2 people canceled because they couldn't deliver a virtual speech. That's why we have our speaker training boot camps for virtual speaker training boot camp. So you can learn how to do this and have impact. So, I mean, just amazing, amazing all around. It's called Speakers and Experts Magazine and Directory. And of course, if you want to know more, just email me. But at the end of the day, wow, wow, wow. And I have a surprise for you. So I really can't divulge it right now. It's like, yeah, if I give it away now, it won't be a surprise for Karen, guys. So just watch out for it. If you want to receive the copy of the magazine, all you got to do is join for free our Facebook group. And it's called, Business Income Accelerator Group with Orly Amor. And it's a Facebook group. So just join it and you'll see the magazine.
Okay, say the group name again, slowly from people like me.
Yes, I know. Business Income Accelerator Group with Orly Amor for speakers, coaches, and authors.
Okay. Look for Orly Omor.
Just look for me. Yeah.
Just looking for Orly Omor and find the group she's over.
Business Income Accelerator Group.
Got it. Business Income Accelerator Group. Okay, well, it's really not hard to remember unless you want it to be. Yeah. You're like, yeah, Karen, you want it to be clearly. So with these paying jobs these recruiters are getting, well, let me rephrase that. How many of your speakers, when they first start out, realize that they can get paid to speak and not just from selling their product on a stage?
Oh, 90%, because they always learned that they need to speak to sell. And so they go for free or for no fee. And I just really don't like that mantra. It hasn't been my thing. And that's why, you know the saying, you don't know what you don't know, right? I mean, everybody knows that. But my discovery of I don't know what I don't know was in 2010 when I did not know that speakers did not get paid. I've always been paid before that. Until now, I've always been paid to speak. So it was kind of weird for me to hear that people did not get paid. And that's why I started coaching, because I'm very much of an advocate for what I think is not fair, right? So I was paid, and these other speakers of the same event were not paid. They were paid their expenses, but they were not paid like me. And I was very upset about that. I'm very much into like, oh, that's not fair. Wait a minute, why? And I started asking event planners why. And that's how this book came about, Sorry, I'll pull it up just to show you. This book came about because I interviewed 3,400 event planners for this book. Well, of course, they don't
Wow.
3,400 event planners. Actually, it's over 3,400. My goal is 4,000. And I interviewed them to see what they would say. Why are you paying certain people and don't pay certain people?
And why are you hiring certain people and not hiring certain people?
Exactly. And it's kind of interesting, very interesting what they said. So I invite people to read the book. It's really an easy read, and it's fun because I actually write like I speak. So it's like, wait, there's more.
I love that. Well, and you don't just work with speakers, you work with people in corporate America, hone their message, be it that they have to convince their employees to do something or sell something to the boss or the board of directors or just get along.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
I'm a certified behavior analyst. So I started going into corporations and teaching their salespeople how to close the deal 98% of the time without selling. So the point here is about building relationship, building rapport, and knowing people's personality and talking to them in their language, not in ours, where we try to convince people to buy from us, and it's the wrong approach to begin with. Building rapport is the first thing you need, build the know, like, and trust factor. We all learned that, but how many really know how to do it? And if they don't know the bottom line of it, and I love your cards, I love your personality type stuff, because she did that at our speaker training boot camp in Las Vegas. It was awesome. We had so much fun with that exercise. So at the end of the day, it's not only about teaching people how to build rapport, but in a working environment, we all heard about how corporate is everybody's shark type, let me tramp over you so that I can get ahead, instead of let's work together and make the project and the company work so the company makes more money so they keep all of us. It used to be that everybody's out to get everybody, and it was such a bad mentality. That's why I got out of it. And became an entrepreneur because it was not for me. I wanted to work with people, but I wanted to lift everyone around me up. But then people were not in the same mindset. So you gotta just know how to talk to people and bring everybody around you up so you can go up at the same time. So I teach that. And sometimes companies that hire people, they put them in the wrong position within the company. And then they wonder why they don't work well, or why they don't perform well, or so that's because they put them in the wrong place. And you can't expect somebody that is shy and would like to just hide under a desk, putting them as a salesperson. It will not work. It just won't work. They don't feel comfortable in that environment. So again, and you know that. So I started doing that, and it just helped with public speaking and getting people out there, and entrepreneurs and CEOs of company hire me to actually craft their speech and deliver it when it's a big address or big keynote. I get hired at big bucks to definitely help them do that as well.
Wow, that is so awesome. Well, tell me, I know that you help speakers get paid. How do you help speakers go from 0 to 6 digits and then on to 7 digits with what they're bringing in?
So my first claim to fame is that I'm the only one in the world that guarantees they'll make 150K plus their first year of public speaking. And the reason I could say that is because the way I show them to do this business. So first and foremost, event planners are saying, well, speakers don't know what they're doing, right? I mean, a lot of them think they know what they're doing. Some of them have been around for a long time, trying to do it on their own, thinking they can go on Google and find events. Yes, it's one of the methodologies, but then how are you going to communicate who you are as a speaker? There's something in the industry called sameness, right? I mean, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's a duck. How many speakers do you know that speak about leadership? How many speakers do you know that speak about NLP? Oh my God. How many speakers do you know that speak about sales? Whatever it is, there's people out there that speak about it, right? So how do you stand out? That's one of my superpowers. So I position speakers to stand out for event planners where they sound intriguing, sexy, marketable. That's really important because we need to help event planners to do their job faster, better. Why? There was a survey, and I don't know about Karen, if you know about this, but there was a survey done by the ABC in March 2019 of the most stressful jobs in North America, meaning Canada and the United States. Out of 100, the number one was military jet fighter plane pilot, and number 6 was event planner. Oh, and number 2 was air traffic controller. But number 6 was event planner. So how about we make their job easier to hire us? How about we are organized? How about we have all our forms together and our ducks in a row? How about we also have the right language to speak to an event planner because they know when you don't know what you're doing. How much do you charge? Do you know where to start? Do you know how to scale this business? Because it's a scalable business. It's an amazing business. I've been in it for 24 years. I hope I'm there for another 24. You know what I mean? It's just a beautiful business. And so I help speakers know how to navigate this business, and I hold them by the hand until they get booked, and I support them all the way until they make that 150K. How many coaches can say that? Not many. And I put it in writing. How awesome is that? Yay.
Oh, that is so awesome. Woohoo! Well, there's a lot to be said for that. And sometimes people are like, oh, that's so expensive. And I tell myself, if they'll sign the paperwork and pay, and it's the truth, if they'll sign the paperwork and they pay that much, they're more committed to doing it. If somebody loses $100, it's devastating. They lost $100. But they might do the same stuff again and again. If they lost $10,000, yeah, they're not going to do that again.
Right. Yeah.
So you got to be fair and equitable. You don't overcharge, but you also have to not do everything for free. And
yes,
some charity work is great, but you don't want to end up being the one that charity work has to be done for.
Yes. But you know what? I think that what people need to understand is that if you're a speaker or a coach or an author, you've put yourself out there with your message because you want to help people, right? But here is what I think. I don't know how old you are. I don't know where you've been. I don't know what your story is. We all have one, right? I mean, I have one. Karen has one. We all have a story. And it's not who has the better story or the most traumatic story. This is not a competition of stories. It's just another reason why we do what we do. We want to help others come through the mud, right? We want to help people, obviously. But what we did to get to where we are today, we paid for it with education, blood, sweat, tears, experiences, drama, trauma, hardships, heartaches, ups and downs. God knows we've been through it and we've paid for that. So why would we give it away for free? It's like having intellectual property. Since when is that free? Why would you give it away? And by the way, for those of you who believe or not believe, money is energy. It needs to be exchanged. And I believe that you should be paid what you are worth. And there is what is called my value, which you might put it as too low because you're thinking, oh, other people will not be able to afford it. The first mistake you make is thinking for other people. Don't think for other people. If they value you, they will pay for your knowledge and your experience. The other part is industry value. The industry has dictated what you're supposed to be paid if you're a beginner speaker or if you're an experienced speaker and if you're a corporate speaker, and there's some, and they're on and on and on, even if you're a celebrity speaker. There is a dictation of the industry itself. So don't fool yourself by thinking, one, you should speak for free because you want exposure. And as a coach, I can just tell you that I'm a straight shooter, and I'll tell you, if you want exposure, go outside. The sun will give you plenty. I'm being a little sarcastic, but to make it a reality for you, this is not about exposure. This is about changing people's lives and taking this as a business and seriously as a business. And the second thing, just moving. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That was it. And the second thing is taking it seriously for yourself. You can't help people from an empty cart.
Okay, I want to go back to the energy, and energy is the law of the universe, and energy is in us, around us, everywhere. And when somebody is giving you something, they are giving you energy, be it from a product, be it from their presence, be it from them telling you hi, but they're giving you energy. The problem is that, it's just pretend this is full, that I have that much. Yeah, see, now I have to go and put water in it. That's the anal thing in me. And so the glass is full. Orly's laughing because now she's on screen alone. There, I feel better. Object lesson. The glass is full, and Orly has another glass, and she's going to give me that energy. What's going to happen? It's going to overflow and spill out. But isn't that good to have our energy spill out? No, because it's not the energy we want to spill out necessarily, or hardly ever. Pain opens up a space where you can have stuff given to you. You open up a spot that is now empty, that allows the energy you bring in to absorb all the way through your system. Okay, all the way through. And then your glass can stay full all the time because you're going to take some out, put some more in. Take some out, put some more in. Oh, that was cold. That's good.
You're hysterical. I love you.
But object lesson. At least I didn't do the peanut M&Ms or the M&Ms and marshmallow one. That being said, she's like, oh, don't even go there. It's important. It's really, really important that we remove some energy in order to take more energy in. And the easiest way to do that is to pay, because that will remove the energy. I mean, you could work off the business, you could do it in trade, all kinds of things. But you've got to open up that energy. And I have to tell you, if you want high energy to be around somebody that makes you feel good no matter what, Orly's your woman. She knows the energy. She exudes positive energy. People cannot be tired, bored, or unhappy in her presence. They just can't be.
Yeah.
Just her energy repels all negative. So I love that.
Me too. I love you as well.
But tell me about one of your best success stories that you're allowed to tell. One of your favorite.
Well, it's funny because, one of my favorite stories is always how I found out that this, with how I started to coach speakers, because that was not in my horizon in 2010. I was traveling the world speaking. I loved it. 26 countries, 18 states. I was just having a blast. And I was called to speak in Arlington, Texas. And this is my favorite story, because three of my first three clients came from that story. And what happened next was the shocker and the reality of everything. So really quickly, I'm standing in the break room for speakers there, and I'm just having some tea. And these three guys come over to me, and speakers, of course. And one of them says, "Aren't you Orly Amor?" I said, "Yeah." "Do I know you?" "Sorry, don't remember." So he says, oh, no, we've never met officially, but I've seen you on the circuit. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So we started just introducing ourselves. And at one point, one of them says, I'm just curious, how did you get this gig? And I'm like, I don't know. I called. I told them what I speak about. They paid me and I'm here. They all looked at me like if I had 3 heads. You got paid? And I'm like, oh, crap. You guys didn't? And they're like, no, we got our expenses paid, but we didn't get paid. And I said, okay. I got paid and I got my expenses paid. I was almost afraid to say it, And they're like, well, we want to know how you did that. And jokingly, because Karen, I wasn't even coaching at the time. I said, well, if I tell you, I'm going to have to charge you. But just before I could say, just kidding, they said, okay, name your price. And I'm like, huh? Okay, let me get back to you on that. Like, what are you talking about? Me, coach? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Like, what's wrong with you? That's what I was thinking. And I'm like, let's talk about it another time. I go home.
I love that.
I go home back to Florida. And, I'm telling you, God, you plan, God laughs, because I'm at the airport and I'm writing things down and I'm thinking, why am I writing this down? What I do to get booked as a speaker? Why the heck am I writing this down? And an idea comes into my head and I'm thinking, why am I thinking this? Maybe that's what's missing in this industry. People don't know how to do this business, blah, 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 right? All these thoughts and all these delays are happening with the planes. There's no snowstorm, there's no rain, there's nothing but technical difficulties with the plane. Certainly every single thing that you can think of. I was starting to joke around with the people around me. Maybe the pilot forgot the keys. Maybe, I was just joking with people. I didn't know what to do. I get back home to Florida and I'm thinking, okay, I have a really good toolbox here. Maybe I could teach this to people. And I call my friends who are speakers and I'm like, what do you guys think? Maybe I should teach this to people and tell them, how to do this business and guarantee them that they'll make $150K the first year. And they're like, oh my God, Orly, you should totally do this. It's like the Holy Grail. We'll hire you. And I'm like, what? Who are you people? Are you kidding? Aren't you making it good in this business already? No, Orly, what do you think? None of us are making 100, 150. Are you kidding? You're guaranteeing that? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing. That's minimum wage. They're like, that's minimum wage? And I'm like, oops, did I say something wrong? And they're like, you're crazy if you think that's minimum wage. And I'm like, oh, I better not tell them that I triple that. I'm like, I'm sorry. I almost thought, oh, should I tell them that I tripled that? I'm like, oh my goodness, and by the way, at the time, Karen, I was deducing in my head thinking that it's, like, when you think about something, you're like, okay, let me deduce logically that if I make this much, a third of that could be minimum wage. That would be about right? I mean, I don't know. That was just a deducing. Oh my God, did I think wrong, right? And so I called back those 3 guys that I met in Arlington. And I said, hey guys, listen, I don't know what I'm doing, but apparently it's a good idea that I start coaching on this. So I created this thing called Business in a Box for public speakers. And I'm going to guarantee you make $150K your first year in public speaking. So they all said the same thing. Well, how do you guarantee that? Blah, blah, blah. So I told them, and here's my favorite part. They hire me on the spot. And today, 6 years now, 2 of them are making between $300,000 and $400,000 a year blindfolded. One of them made $1.2 million in 2017. So just to say the 7-figure jump with Karen, this guy made it. And he's gay, he's single, he's gorgeous. He goes around the whole world speaking to the LGBT community. Just an amazing person. And about 2 years ago, I called him and I couldn't reach him for like at least 4 weeks. And by the time I reached him, I'm like, listen, buddy, I called the Pope and he said that I should try you again. and he's like, Orly, I'm busy. I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, you're doing everything right, but it's me. You better call me back. But you know what? I would not even be willing to do the work he does. I taught him everything. He gives me credit for it. He also has scaled the business the way I taught him, and he's making a killing. I don't know how much he's making today or anything like that, but I'll tell you this. There's a lot of money in this business. It's $100 billion a year industry in the world, and I think everybody can make it. Are they willing to do the work? Are you willing to get up every morning? Are you willing to give an hour or 2 hours a day for this business? Because if you are, the technique, the tools are there for you. Are you willing to do the work? I can only, bring a horse to water. Can't make him drink, And consistency. So many people lack consistency. So many people want to make the money, but they want to wake up at 2:00 in the afternoon. It doesn't work in any business, So that's my favorite story. Still my favorite story.
I love this story. Absolutely love it. And, we wake up and we don't have things planned out, and we don't do things that are going to benefit us. Instead, we're like hamsters in a wheel, and we just keep running and running and running, going nowhere. And then we get tired and pass out from running so hard to nowhere that we just lay in the wheel as it goes back and forth going, I'm seasick. So I ran and ran and ran, and I'm going to throw up. And I've heard that story so many times. Not your story, but whoops, I just had a mishap. I've heard people over and over again just say, I can't get it to work. I can't get it to work. I can't get it to work. And it comes down to attitude, and comes down to knowing your heart and knowing everything that you want to share with the world. Now, I want to make sure everybody understands that you help people learn how to speak. You help speakers become better speakers, but you also help entrepreneurs and business people and house moms and house dads, anybody, to better present themselves with other people. And is that correct?
Yes. I also help speakers make money in this business. That's the real goal for me. It's to make them money. I don't care if they're a good speaker, a bad speaker, a beginner or not. They have to know how to make the money first. Because you know what? Speaking is an art form. You got to practice it. You got to go to speaker training boot camps. You got to learn, hire a coach for speaking, whatever, even if it's not me, I don't care. My point here is that it's an art form. You got to keep exercising it. You got to keep learning about it. You got to, even actors, they still go to acting classes. They still, musicians, they still have a conductor. They still have coaches for that. They don't stop because they're good at it. They continue perfecting it. So same thing for speaking, but the business side, it's the same. Just do it every day so you can make the money you're worth.
I love that. Now, I would love it if you left your quote you told us earlier and your segment of the show with your wonderful quote. And everybody look at the thing down below, Orly Amor. You can contact her at Orly at orlyamor.com. And Speakers Expert Magazines. Oh, yeah, we got to look at that, guys. I'm looking to do that. I love it. That's a great one. Anyway, orlyamor.com. Go ahead and find her. And that being said, it's your turn.
Thank you. Well, I like to say you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. So you got to, somebody else has to show you your potential. Somebody else has to walk you through, and somebody else has to show you how. It's not always you're going to figure it out. I know I'm good at figuring things out, but it'll take me longer. And I like to save people 10 years in learning this business, 10 years of learning and failing at it. I'll save you that.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Orly, you've been a wonderful guest today. I love you and adore you. And all the continued success and joy in your life.
Thank you.
Talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and go to a real quick commercial, and then I would want to talk about some of the things Orly talked about.
Meet Marty Origian, a transformational energy connector, a global energy master, seeker of the universe, and the abundance connector. Join Marty for a live 3-day energy attraction and abundance workshop Friday, November 20th through Sunday, November 22nd. Harness the specific energy required to attract abundance, love, and vitality into your life. For information, contact Karen at drkarenperkins.com. When you register by October 10th, you'll receive a 10% discount. The Art of Connection, 365 Days of Inspiration, a way of leaving your legacy today and tomorrow. It's great to be inspired, but it's better to be the one doing the inspiring. Improving our children's lives, getting them excited about the things to come, and building a future. Also bringing our own selves more business, more credibility, and improving our search engine optimization. The value of quotes is they encourage us, speak to us, remind us, empower us, and comfort us. A thought can change your perception. Share your thoughts and offer strength to others. As Steve Jobs says, do something wonderful. Be a part of the Art of Connection. For more information and to secure your spot in history, go to www.365networkingquotes.com.
Well, I tell you, I love Orly. She has lots of great information. And, truthfully, I really did. I went to one of her events. Actually, it was in Las Vegas in the spring. And I was one of the guest speakers at the event. And, usually when you go to the event as a guest speaker, you kind of just go, yeah. Now, I try and not do that so much, but it happens. But, what are they going to teach me? I already know this stuff. I've been teaching it for 25 years. But I got there, and the questions she asked people and the way she brought it up, I took 3 pages of notes. Or not pages, but notebooks of notes. I don't write notes. I don't, but this was like, oh, that's good. I got to write. That's good. And I've seen some of the people she's helped and worked with. And like I said, she gets you not just learning the industry from the speaking side of it, but the business side of it. And too many of us get caught up without the business side taken care of. Hey, Robert, what were your thoughts on what Orly said today?
Well, it reminded me of when I was in athletics, and I look at speaking the same way, or I look at, and what I mean by that is you don't stop running to get better. You keep running, you keep practicing, you keep performing, you keep, learning the little edges that change good to great, and I look at that, and that's why you keep going. That's why you keep going to training. That's why you keep putting the right people in your life. And it's the same way with a good book. Just because you've been trained, let's say, as a speaker 10 or 15 years ago, doesn't mean like picking up a book, the training doesn't resonate you at a different level several years later. That's where you start coming to mastery, because you have perspective, and then you can also help and lead with others.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I loved whole bunches of her comments. She's an inspiration, man. She's truly is who you saw today. Some people get on shows and they're all nice and sweet and pretend. Orly is sincere inside and out. And I love that. You can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
And I like that what she came upon it organically. She did something, people saw that, and they approached her, and she made a business out of it. She didn't even know that there was a need for it. People came to her with the need, and she took that and she grew with it. I mean, it really reminds me of when I have this quote that says, give them something worth, talking about. And she creates in her training for her speakers something to really give anyone, any event planner, something worth talking about. And you also mentioned, Dr. Karen, she also gives them the tools from the business side of it so they know their worth.
Yeah. Well, and like she said, you got to know the business before you start throwing out the product.
Absolutely.
And what is the product? Your knowledge is. So you got to develop the product, but you've got to have the business set up and ready to go for when the product goes out.
Absolutely.
So,
well, what a great show. Thank you so much today.
Hey, it was a great show, and I'll tell you what, we've got another wonderful person from across the pond on next week, and I'm looking forward to having him on the show.
I am too.
So everybody, on behalf of Robert and on behalf of me, mwah, you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
Thank you for joining the 7-Figure Jump, a production of the iNetrepreneur Radio Network with host Dr. Karen Perkins. Join Dr. Karen each week as she visits with new and exciting guests who inspire, teach, and mentor the secrets behind the 7-Figure Jump. Join us every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time.